Hi guys, so today I am back with one of my favorite videos to film, which is a foundation review. So I'm back with another Chanel foundation. This will be probably my third Chanel foundation review, I think, on my channel. And I don't know why I always go back to Chanel. I think it's because the Lumiere Aqua is one of my favorite foundations of all time. So I am still going through their line, seeing if there's anything else that I love. So when I went to the Chanel counter, they recommended to me the Perfection Lumiere, or Lumiere, whichever way you want to say it, if you want to be fancy or you want to be American. So let's just get to the basics. This product is called the Perfection Lumiere, and it is a long wear flawless fluid sunscreen makeup. It has an SPF of 15 and I'm in the shade 30 beige. The bottle itself looks like this. It's a frosted glass bottle. Yeah, it has the black cap and a nice clean black pump on the top. And just to go ahead and set up the product before I go and review it, I just want to read you guys some of the stuff that it says on the Chanel website about this foundation. I'm not sponsored by Chanel whatsoever. That would be really awesome if I was though. Chanel, if you're out there. But yeah, so let me just go ahead and read you guys the stuff straight from their website, and you guys can find this information on your own, obviously. This foundation is supposed to have a light fluid texture that seamlessly glides onto your skin, and it is supposed to have a lightweight coverage that can be adjustable, which was something that the woman at the counter told me. She said that this foundation is definitely a buildable one, so you can get a full coverage face with this foundation. And this foundation is supposed to have a skin embracing texture that becomes one with the face, following its every movement. So poetically written. Its perfect skin affinity complex ensures a second skin effect and perfect foundation hold for 15 hours. That was another reason why I was drawn to this foundation, because I wear my foundations for very long periods of time, and other Chanel foundations have not worn long enough for my liking. This foundation is from a line of 14 different shades, so there isn't too much selection within it, but there are still enough shades that you can probably find something or mix and match to find a perfect shade for you. Just so you guys know, this foundation is oil-free. It's not necessarily targeted at dry or oily skin. This is more of a normal skin foundation, supposedly, but I will go ahead and test that out. A little bit about my skin, if you guys haven't watched any of my other foundation reviews. I have pretty normal skin. It does get oily in the T-zone and it gets dry spots during the winter, but overall I have pretty balanced skin. I do have acne breakouts from time to time because I am a teenager, and the only thing that I have on my skin right now is moisturizer and my Smashbox Photo Finish More Than Primer with the dark spot correcting formula. Now that all that background information is out there for you guys to know, I'm going to go ahead and apply this to my skin. Like I said, I have no concealer on right now, so I'm just going to go ahead with the foundation on the back of my hand. I'm going to start with two pumps actually. Let's do two. So I was color matched, so hopefully this works out. And the foundation brush that I'm using is the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush. I basically use this foundation brush in every tutorial that I do, and when I had it tested on my skin, the woman actually used a makeup sponge, but I'm just a fan of applying foundation with my brush. And I absolutely love the smell of this foundation. Chanel foundations always have the nicest scents to me. They are all scented, so if you guys don't like a scented foundation, don't go for that. So I'm just gonna work on one half of my face so that way you guys can kind of have a before and after. So with just one simple application, it was a very light layer that I applied so far. I do have a much more color corrected side on this side of my face than this one. I especially notice it at my under eye circles. If you guys look around my eye here, this one is a lot more seamlessly color coded with the rest of my face, whereas this one you still have a lot of redness around the eye. You can also see it around my nose. As far as blemishes go, I'm still seeing a little bit of my blemishes. Obviously on my forehead you can still see them, and on my chin I have one right over here, and I can still see my freckles through it. It's not a foundation that's going to be so full coverage on the first application, so I'm going to go ahead and apply to the other side of my face. And I just always apply on my cheeks first because that's where I have the most redness. You're supposed to apply where you need the most coverage first and then work the product outwards. So I go to my cheeks work it to my nose and my forehead, and then work it down. The color match is really perfect for my face right now. My neck is a little bit tanner because I did self-tan at the beginning of the week and it's still wearing off. And the foundation so far feels really nice on my skin. It almost has a powder finish, which is something that I really like. When I had tested this out at the makeup counter, it actually had felt a little bit heavier than it does right now, but I had a second layer of foundation put on. So I actually still have a little bit more on the back of my hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and run whatever is left on any place where I still feel like I have a little bit of redness. So I'm going to focus it on a little bit on my forehead and on my cheeks. Okay, so now that the foundation has been completely set, I will say it feels very nice. It's a really nice texture. It doesn't feel overly heavy right now. I don't feel like it's really getting clumped up anywhere. I mean, of course, I did just apply it. And it does have pretty good coverage. I definitely call this a medium coverage and a very buildable one at that. You could definitely actually wear this super light if you wanted to do a really light application, just probably one pump. But I think that you could definitely even work this up to a full coverage, but it will start to feel heavier on your face. When I tested it out at the makeup counter, I actually had a much heavier second layer applied than I just did right now. And it did start to feel heavier, but it didn't look heavier by any means. So you can achieve a very flawless face with this product without having it cake up. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my makeup, so I will be right back to finish talking about the product. Okay, so I am back and my makeup is done now. So now for the full-on review part. So let me just say this packaging is phenomenal. Let's just talk about that for a second. This is A+ packaging in my book. I think that it looks really nice. It is a little bit heavy, which is kind of annoying. So I mean, it's probably not the best thing to travel with. All right, I'm starting to look kind of weird because something's going on with the lighting behind me. Deal with me, guys. This foundation was super blendable and easy to apply, and the coverage of this foundation is something that I actually really like. When I went to go and finish my makeup, I went to my room where all my makeup is set up, and I actually completely forgot about concealer until like the last second because my skin really didn't need concealer, to be honest, when I got to the end of my makeup. I mean, I put a little bit on just for the sake of putting it on, but I really didn't need anything exceptional on my skin to cover up anything because this foundation did a pretty good job. The makeup is sitting very lightly on my face. I don't feel like I'm really wearing foundation whatsoever. And while it probably will feel heavier as you put on a couple more layers of foundation, if you're going for a really full coverage foundation, then you're obviously going to feel a little more makeup than I do right now. But I really love how my skin feels. A couple weeks back, I actually did a splurge or save video, which I'll try and link down below. And I talked about how I believe that foundation is something that you should splurge for. So I want to talk about the price of this foundation for a second. This foundation, I believe, was $55, $56. I did get it during a friends and family event, so I did save 10% of whatever I was supposed to pay for it. And it is a very expensive foundation, but I do want to say that this foundation, first of all, you get so much from just one pump of foundation. I was able to cover my whole face and do a little bit extra with just one pump of foundation. So I really do think that it's worth it to spend the money on this. The ingredients in this foundation are really nice. There are no silicones and no parabens in it. So if it can last a full 15 hours like it brags to, then I think that it will be a really great foundation. Now, because I'm not doing a time lapse in this video, I will leave in the description box below this video how I felt wearing this foundation, and that will also have been after a couple of days of me really wearing this foundation for full days, but really going through a full day of activities with this foundation on. So if you guys want to know about how this foundation wears during the day and how long it wears for perfectly, then look in the description box below. This foundation isn't necessarily a dewy foundation. I'd say that it is more of a matte finish, but it does have a very luminous effect to it, which is something that Chanel talks about a lot when they're talking about this product. So I do really notice that. I don't have a highlighter on my cheeks or anything like that, but you guys can see that I do have kind of like a light catching kind of effect, and it's something that they really talk about in the description of this product, how they have some sort of luminous effect within their makeup product. I definitely don't want to say that this is better than the Lumiere Aqua because the foundations are very different. Lumiere Aqua is a much thicker foundation than this one is. It is a lot almost like moussier in consistency. If you were to ever pump out these on the back of your hands, you'd immediately notice that this is a very liquidy foundation. But I think that this one is perfect for going into the fall and winter months because it does have a very powder finish feel on your skin. It's not feeling heavy or oily or anything like that because it's oil-free, obviously. But I remember last year when I did a review of a Chanel foundation, I wasn't completely in love with the texture of it, and this one, I have to say, I am really happy. So if you guys are looking for a new foundation to try out, I definitely recommend picking this up. The Perfection Lumiere is definitely something that I say is worth a try and worth the splurge for the price. So that has been my review of this foundation. I hope that you guys liked it, and don't forget to come back next week and subscribe for my next Fall Friday video. I'll see you guys then. Bye!